Should have been counting deer today. I would have had, well, I don't know, 2 dozen deer I've seen so far. I left early this morning. Not too early. Early enough to meet my good friend Russell Beliveau at his house after he gets done work for the morning. He gets home around 9:30 and I was, just a few minutes after that, showed up in his yard. I went for a load of hemlock logs. He cuts logs. He's got a nice sized little wood lot, about the same size as mine. And he has a little more freedom to, seems like it anyway, to go get logs. So I buy logs from him. I needed a road trip. I love road trips. I live to drive. So 2.5 hours away from home, just my dog and I, Wonder Quinn, the Wonder Doodle. He and I went down to Russell's to pick up this load. It's about 800 board feet of hemlock. It's worth the drive. He gives me a really good price, and I can turn that money. I can easily triple my money on this timber when I even paying for my fuel and my time to go down, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about starting over as an old man. And I was contemplating on not starting my YouTube career again. Doesn't look like my channel's any closer now than it was a month ago to being recovered. My old channel, the Logfather channel, 14 years, 700 videos locked up, and I can't get anybody at Google to take it serious. All I need to do is to talk to somebody on the phone for 5 minutes and I can straighten it out. I don't know why they can't restore it back to the pre-hijack state. They know because they've emailed me and said it was 4:32 p.m. my time on the 19th of March when my channel was hacked. Why can't they roll that clock back to the pre-hack state? They know who the hacker was. They've told me his email address, his IP address, yet they are doing nothing to recover this on my behalf. So I'm losing faith. However, that said, I did start a new YouTube channel. As you know, you're watching it. Logfather Adventures. And I had planned all along to start a second channel, one with some more oriented towards motorcycles and camping, and try not to dirty the couple of genres that I have with forestry and logging and firewood and that kind of thing with camping, or maybe even product reviews. So far the companies that have been sponsoring my old channel are still on board and sympathetic and just stay the course. And they really left it up to me to wait till my channel returns, where there's millions of views that I've had on that channel, or this new channel, which is 3.5 weeks old, and I've only got 1,000, just a little over 1,000 subscribers, but not enough watch hours to be monetized yet. But probably by the weekend I will. I suspect the way things are going. So anyway, do you start over or not? And then it got me thinking about what's the real reason that I'm involved with YouTube. When I first started YouTube, I used it for my customers, for my Volkswagen repair business. I would build vans for them, and oftentimes I've never met the customers that I've built vans for. I had sent them a video Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock along with their invoice, and the bill would get paid wherever we were that week on the project. It's usually a 6 to 10 week project. Every Friday I got paid. Kept my cash flow current, kept those guys up to date, up to speed, and it prevents the attitude from the customer or me. There's no rush on this. Take your time. I'm not interested in that. You bring me the van, it gets in the queue, I work on it, I get paid for it, and when it's done, you come and get it, because I don't really have the real estate to store all these vans. But anyway, I'd send them a link of the progress report, whether we did cabinets that week, or rebuilt an engine, or heard it run for the first time in years, or it could be just a big pile of parts on the floor. So they want to know where their money is. Could be 85 cents, could be $8,500. But you're better to have room on your Visa card for that bill. And that's the only way I do those jobs. The only possible way. If somebody says I'll just e-transfer them, nope, not interested. I'm in control of when I get paid. Not every business should be that way. The business should be in control of when they get paid. Which leads me to a bit of a rant. There seems to be some kind of a 30-day account business in a lot of contractor companies, and I think that most of those guys are building somebody else's house with the building supplies money, and that's nonsense. I don't understand how the thought process works. So, by the way, I got about 12,000 pounds behind me, so it's a good jag. I got to use all the gears that I have to get going. But anyway, so that's how I got into YouTube. Sent them a link. I had one customer that asked me to make it public so they could share that with their friends. By the way, everybody agreed to that payment policy. It worked great for everybody. The customers were happy. It wasn't one great big bill at the end, a $22,000 repair bill or anything like that. They got it in dribs and drabs, lumps, small lumps all along the way instead of one huge lump sum. So anyway, when the customer asked to make it public, I did, made one of the van builds public, the whole series, and all of a sudden it started to get a few views, and then I had like 50,000 views. And anyway, within a very short period of time after making that public, the channel started gaining traction. And when I sold the shop in 2021, I had to think about that for a second, I end up transitioning my own personal income stream to forestry from automotive mechanics, and therefore I changed my channel genre from building vans, customizing vans, working on vans, troubleshooting vans, to forestry, firewood, milling lumber, building the sawmill, microforestry in the woods with my little tractor and forestry trailer, that kind of thing. And that's how I transitioned into what I'm doing today. So that's the real reason I started, or that's the excuse, or that might explain how I get involved with YouTube. But that it doesn't define the reason why I continue to do YouTube. So a big part of my YouTube business today still is advertising for my firewood business and my lumber business, because I sell a fair amount of lumber, sell a fair amount of firewood, as you know. And somebody's figuring out who I am, where I am, because my phone continues to ring and I get orders every day. So advertisement for the business works good. Another reason that I might be doing YouTube, and this is the internal reflection portion of the video, am I doing this out of vanity? Because I'm a very private person. I don't like crowds. I do not want a channel viewer showing up at my house. Don't want it. It's not okay to show up at a YouTuber's house. Lots of people know where I live. I've had a couple of people just show up out of the blue when I'm working and expect me to stop the production, even though I've got a deadline told someone's going to be in their yard at 10 o'clock with a load of wood, and you show up at 20 after 9 and want to talk for half an hour. That puts me behind. That's not okay. But the privacy portion of it is dismissed when I am in a mall and somebody comes over to me and says, "Hey, you're the Log Father. My son and I watch your channel. We learn a lot." And I feel puffed up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just, in a braggadocious kind of way, I feel like, well, maybe I am somebody. It's not intentional. I remember somebody said once, if I only had just a little bit of humility, I'd be perfect. But it's not about being humble or not humble, because I want to be a humble guy. I want to practice humility if at all possible. Boy, this road is rough. I wish they could practice some paving on this road. But I've met a guy one time at Princess Auto, and I could tell he was following me through the aisles. And I'm not a defensive guy, but I'm ready for the next thing, whatever happens. I didn't know what he was up to. Anyway, and he pulled out his phone and he shows me the video that he was just watching in the car before he came in with his wife, and it's my video, the latest one that I uploaded, and he wanted to take a selfie with me. That's cool. I don't mind that. So I keep stickers in my truck, channel fan stickers, and I make sure that these guys get one. That's happened a half a dozen times, just locally home. Once in Toronto, which is 2,000 kilometers from here, in an airport. So am I wanting to maintain or rebuild this YouTube presence for that reason? That's not the right reason. And then I want this YouTube channel as a record, as a library for my children and grandchildren. My almost 7-year-old grandson, he's probably my biggest fan. He watches all of my videos, and he'll tell me, we'll talk about the videos. And I often will showcase my faith. I want my grandchildren to realize that I've got a true evidence-based faith in God. I want my whole audience to know that it's not just some foolishness that I believe because perhaps my parents had believed that, therefore I inherited that religion, if you will. It's nothing to do with that. I had to figure this out for myself, and the evidence points 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that we come from an intelligent designer. We're not a product of random chance, as today's secular school boards want to insist that what happened in the Bible actually happened. I want my grandchildren to remember that I'm a man of integrity, perhaps. When I mention that I pay my taxes, that I don't do the cash deal in my pocket kind of thing, I want my kids and grandkids to realize that I was a man of integrity, because I'm not going to live forever. Well, not here anyway. My days are numbered, as are yours. And if they can relive some of those lessons that I may not have verbalized to them like I should have, that record now is gone. So I have to start rebuilding that record up. Simple example was when I built my sawmill. There's an 8 or 10 or 12 part series on my channel when I built my sawmill. And I may want to refer back to that for a repair at some point, or I want to build that sawmill again. How did I do the blade tensioning system, or whatever the case may be? I've lost that record. But I can continue to work at that and keep building that library back up so that I have that back again. My little off-grid cabin that I go to, or a camper van that I built for all those people, all that information is gone. And Google's not giving any help at all in restoring it. So aside from hiring a lawyer, which I don't even know how that would help, I've had that stolen from me. I did get a paycheck from Google on the Thursday before Good Friday. It was a couple of weeks late, but I got my March payment from them, but I never got any more payment yet. So there's no more, because there's no more eyeballs on the screen. So no advertisers are advertising on my channel. So moving forward, I'm going to be posting on this. It's going to be a reflection of my actual personality. Not that my other channel wasn't, but I want all of these people that meet me perhaps in a mall or in the movie theater or in an airport somewhere, and they say, hey, you're the Log Father. I want them to go away thinking, you know what, he's the same guy in person that he portrays himself to be on that video. And I want to be known as being an authentic guy. I want to be known as a God-fearing man, family man, take my business serious, but still have fun too. I feel like I need to explain all of this, and I shouldn't have to explain it. And it's not that I'm trying to justify what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but I'm enjoying the process of making the videos. I enjoy the process of editing the videos, and I enjoy the process of trying to figure a way to tell a story of what I'm doing that makes sense, and that people will get just a little bit of a snippet of what kind of a person I am. And I'm trying not to pat myself on the back. I want to be a humble guy, and I'm not mentioning any of this in any way for bragging purposes. I just want to be authentic. All that said, I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me when this channel went away. My last channel went away. This channel is, in 3 weeks, I've gained the same amount as I've gained in 6 or 7 years on my other channel. So that's your fault, 100%. So I can't thank you enough for that. But anyway, that's just a channel update. And I'm starting from scratch. It's hard. I know lots of guys have started with way less than I have. I watched my favorite YouTuber the other day, Scott Wadsworth. He's the Essential Craftsman. They've got millions of subscribers. They've got a huge following. And he started his channel when he was the age I am right now, and 10 years ago. And he's built something from nothing. At least I have a few ashes and a bit of a following, very loyal following that I can build on. So, and that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to build on that. So this was a definite rambling, and I apologize if I didn't stitch this together the way I think it should have been stitched together, but I'm trying to keep a trailer between the lines behind me, and I'm almost home. and had a great morning. I live for these road trips. So anyway, until the next video, I will see you. No, I won't. You will see me on the next one. And I guess that's all she wrote. Until next time. Over and out, my friends.